yourself ready, go cat go. Ooh yeah, be telling you something you surely know. Ooh yeah, born in a land where we wave them high, and we got blue angels climbing in the sky. I'm the luckiest guy in America. I'm the luckiest man born in America.
Well, I got me a guy named Johnny B. Good.
Ooh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Unaffordable America. Here we are again, out in the barn. How are you, Joe, man?
Good,
It's
good,
looking
good.
good.
Yeah.
Well, boy, this is really rolling along.
What is this, our
Number
fourth show?
fourth. I don't know. It seems like 100,
Yeah,
right? They're getting better, I hope.
I hope.
I hope so. Well, it's been great. The response is just absolutely off the hook.
Yeah, that's what counts.
We're getting thousands and thousands of views. It's unbelievable. The outpouring of support has
Right.
just been incredible.
Well, we want it to be framing important subjects for you. We want it to be fun as best as possible, considering we're talking about the relationship of really families to the government. You know, I mean, so you could, but we
It's
found
boring.
ways of making it,
We hope we have.
entertaining. And but anyway, we have, our different segments. We have our band segment and commentary segment, Man on the Street segment, and we also have each week a guest that is interviewed by Dan. And who do we get this week?
This week is a special treat. We always think about the two major parties. In other countries, they have lots of other parties.
5,
don't they?
6 parties.
Or more.
Right.
30.
Germany.
Maybe smaller ones, and they make coalitions. But in Connecticut, we think primarily in terms of the two major parties, Democrat, Republican, but not so much about Working Families Party or the Libertarian Party or the Independent Party, which are also parties that can have a line on the ballot. So today's guest is Dan Reale. Dan Reale is the head of the Libertarian Party here
that'll
in
be
Connecticut.
interesting. That'll be
Yep, and
interesting.
he's run for Congress, and he's run for a number of different things. But hey, how about we kick it off with a tune
We always
from
kick it off
Little
with the tune.
House?
Yeah, so the Little House Band is coming up next, and it's right over there.
There's a little bit of heaven shining from my eyes. Still a bit of sunshine glowing in the sky. And in these times of sorrow that crept into my life, times of worry and times of strife, there's a little bit of music ringing in my ears. Still a bit of tenderness to dry my tears. And in these times of sorrow that crept into my life, times of worry and times of strife, well, we're here together, here again, here together. And thank you, my friend, 'cause when I lost my way, you showed me a picture of love. Yeah, when I lost my way, you showed me a picture of love. There's a little bit of heaven shining in my eyes, still a bit of sunshine glowing in the sky. And in these times of sorrow that crept into my life, times of worry and times of strife, well, we're here together, here again, here together. And thank you, my friend, 'cause when I lost my way, you showed me a picture of love. Yeah, when I lost my way, you showed me a picture of love. 'Cause when I lost my way, you showed me a picture of love. Oh yeah, you showed me a picture of love. Oh yeah, you showed me a picture of love. You showed me a picture of love.
So now we're going to move on to the interview segment. And of course, that's not my segment, that's Dan's segment. And in this case, he's told you about the other Dan from the Libertarian Party. And I'm anxious to see that because, as you say, that's a hidden party. Not many people understand really where they're coming from. So I'm looking forward to this interview.
Me too. Let's get right to it. Here's Dan Reale.
So it's been a busy year for us in the Libertarian Party of Connecticut, which I chair. We're the only people out there saying this is unaffordable. The reason it is unaffordable here is because nobody in the Democratic or Republican parties is saying, here's our philosophy of what government does do, what it doesn't do. They haven't defined the scope of government. But so there's no real world assessment of what these things cost. And of course, that happens because we live in a system of electoral welfare. Like, you got to allegedly vote R or D no matter what. And that system was created by ballot access laws, which exclude the adults in the room from being in the room. And we have a broken process that's basically the imposers of versus the imposed upon. So we have a bad process that has reached its inevitable result of dystopian levels of unaffordability.
First of all, what is the problem here in Connecticut, Dan? And what has it been over the last 30 years that we've had one party rule and it's both parties? But explain it, break it down for people.
Okay, so the major problem is you have ballot access laws that say if the Libertarians were made to get to the place of major party, which is where the R's and D's are, we would need 162,224 raw signatures. It would take $1 million to collect them all. It would be a 3-year effort, and not even the Democratic National Committee, with Connecticut being a very Democrat-friendly state, could pull off such an effort. We're in court over that right now, so that part, we've taken that ball, we've run with it. As far as the standard, which has gone toward lockdown ad infinitum, lockdown being the answer to everything, like we flatten all curves, we are actually involved in an effort called Make Me Day, which is February 10th, which is when the orders are supposed to expire, but we know the king is going to renew them. And you go to makemeday.com. What it's going to be is we're going to say we're not going to do business with, trade, support, or associate in any way with the COVID enforcers that get reported to this website. So in other words, King Lamont is at the top of the list because he's the one doing all this. He says, go forth and make it so. So a plumber participates in Make Me Day, and his toilet explodes, the plumber has other things to do that are not fix the king's toilet. If he gets a flat tire on the highway, the mechanic...
Kind of like a blue flu solution. So ballot access is one thing, but I mean, we've spent our way into a huge debt, $70-80 billion. We have a deficit from this COVID experiment here, which is doubled the built-in deficit. So we're at probably $6-7 billion. What do the libertarians say? I mean, how do you turn the ocean liner around, or, what is the major problem here?
One of the major problems is there's no philosophical limit on what it is that government does. That's the first thing. Like, if you don't solve that problem, you will never have an affordable anything. We've just said no holds barred. Goldfish has cancer. There needs to be a government program for that. I got a paper cut last Tuesday. There should be a stimulus program for that. Someone looked at me wrong and I feel offended and I think he might be racist. There needs to be a study about that. Like, it just never ends.
That's true.
Until we get that philosophy of what the role of government ought to be, we'll never have an affordable government, because there is no philosophy on government in either party. It's just, we got to get elected, so every election comes around and the Democrats pretend to care about civil rights and racism and foreign wars and warrantless spying, and the Republicans, they pretend to be fiscally conservative. I know the outgoing monkey with a machine gun, some call a president, said, hey, give him a little more money. It's just $26 trillion. We'll pay it back. I'm just like, you don't pay back $26 trillion of anything. I don't care if it's like grains of sand on a beach. That's a huge, that's a huge number, as the Donald would put it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Dan Reale, and we will be talking to you again real soon. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Well, there you have it. An actual libertarian.
That was amazing, huh?
Well, they just like liberty. It's a shocking idea.
Well, there's a lot of aspects about the Libertarian Party I like. As long as we have roads and bridges and a good defense, maybe the rest of the stuff could work itself out. But look, we include all voices here on Unaffordable America. And speaking of that, let's add Hoodwinked.
Oh, my goodness.
The weekly segment, Joe Petrina's Hoodwinked.
Welcome to Understanding Natural Rights. For those familiar with the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, his concept of natural rights to life, liberty, and property still ring true. In the Declaration of Independence, natural rights are defined as inalienable, neither able to be given away nor taken away by any operation of government. New laws, executive and judicial decrees cannot interfere with natural rights. To see what is meant by natural rights, let's examine the right to bear arms, free speech, and our private property protections. First, a look at life and the right to bear arms. Quite simply, if you have a natural right to life, then certainly you have the right to defend yourself. And this means defense from all comers, including criminals and oppressive political regimes. This natural right to life is diminished, therefore, whenever government limits your ability to defend yourself. Hence, by definition, your natural rights to both life and arms need to sit above any operation of government. Next, I'll look at liberty and free speech. When I took a free speech class taught by the dean of Yale Law School, no one in class could define free speech. We tried for an hour, but the dean dismantled all of our guesses. Finally, he let us off the hook, explaining, everything American starts with we the people. People run the government, not the other way around. Authority over government is why freedom of speech exists. Unfettered dialogue amongst ourselves is essential for us to pilot
our subordinate government apparatus. Then he continued, freedom of speech, the right to influence the political opinions of others out in the public domain, has no restraints. This includes hate speech, agenda media, and even falsehoods claimed against public officials, so long as the optic is political. Non-political falsehoods, such as defamation or yelling fire in a theater, are both illegal. So thank you, Professor. And so, because freedom of speech is a natural right sitting at the heart of liberty, it implicitly ranks above government. Now let's look at property. As with life and liberty, property also sits above government. Property, therefore, is not to be encumbered by any government operation. Specifically, the taxing of private homes and family cars and the practice of applying commercial code to homeowners all violate the U.S. Constitution. Due process forbids interference with property. Yet there are many opponents of property. And this fight is affecting our natural rights. Originalists interpret the Constitution verbatim, and evolutionists say it should be adopted to meet current circumstances. Yet for now, both still agree that free speech sits above government authority. But inconsistently, the two camps part company when it comes to property, even though property certainly stands elevated on the same we the people perch as speech. Conservative originalists maintain that Americans fully own private property with absolute rights to homes, savings, cars, and so forth. Conversely, socialist evolutionists believe that property, unlike speech, stands subclassified with limited rights molded by the evolving needs of government. As things stand, the U.S. Constitution was never amended to subclassify property in this manner. Such an amendment would repudiate the whole we the people foundation, placing us and our property below the government. To circumvent this, and without a battle waged over legal standing, state legislatures simply embedded tax lien home confiscation devices designed to intimidate us. These tax statutes ignore the Constitution, and in doing so, degrade both natural rights and our affordable living. We actually pay to live in our own homes and to drive our own cars. It appears that our properties have been unlawfully subjugated by the very politicians chosen to represent us. Our natural rights have been trashed. As the Yankee Institute reports, Connecticut property tax growth outpaces New York and Massachusetts. I guess natural rights in Connecticut have found a new low point. Want to do something about it? Please visit hoodwink.net. Thank you.
Well, this is the wrap-up. This is show number 4. We're going to keep doing these shows, you know.
That's right. We're not, your support, this is about all of us coming together. It's nonpartisan. We want to thank you for joining us. It's been a heck of a show. Maybe we'll just get rid of the government like Dan Reale says, right?
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll try that next week.
Yeah, we're looking for balance. But thanks for coming this week.
That's right. We'll be back next week.
Well, I got me a guy named Johnny B. Good.
Ooh, yeah.
He ain't perfect, but he sure be good.
Ooh, yeah. Luckiest ones in America.